Hey, what's cracking? Hope this video finds you doing well. Hope that you, my friend, have everything going your way. I'd like to thank you for clicking on the video. If you've never watched one before, my name is Ricky Dye, and I went to prison for murder in the state of Oklahoma when I was 15 years old. I was there for 20 and a half years before I went home, and I can't do anything about what I did to go to prison. I can't change my past, but what I can do is share it in hopes that it saves another kid from going and doing something like what I did, or another young person, period, or any person who may be thinking about doing something to break the law. If you'd like to watch the videos, you'll enjoy them best if you'll start at the beginning, because that's where I started, at the beginning when I was 15. What I did that got me put in prison, what led to me being in that situation in the first place, how the justice system goes about certifying young kids and send them to prison, how that works, and what it was like at each prison I went to. And I try to tell the story as it happened, but I do jump around from time to time and tell different stories, and that's what I want to do today. I had someone reach out to me on Messenger, and uh, they said, "Hey, have a family member, a brother, my brother, and he's committed. He's going to prison for a bad charge. He did something sexually with his daughter or something, or I'm not sure the circumstances, but she's very not proud of him for what he did at all. She's brokenhearted because of what he's done. But it's still her brother, and she still loves him. And she wanted to know, should he just go straight to protective custody? I wanted to name this video, What Happens If You Go to Prison with These Charges, but they've demonetized, YouTube has demonetized my last 5 videos in a row as soon as I post them. Then I request a review, but by the time the review comes back, most of the people that's going to watch the video have already watched it, so I'm not really making nothing off of this stuff, and I don't aim to make anything off the videos. If you'd like to buy a shirt, I do make a couple bucks off that. But other than that, this is more of something that I do from my heart to try to save some other kid and their family from going through what me and my family went through, or the victim's family who went through worse. But I have to tell the story from my side because I don't know their side of the story. I only can tell my side. But she wants to know, should he just go straight to PC? And the truth of the matter is, if you're going to go to prison for any kind of sex charge, yeah, you probably should just go straight to PC. Why do I say that? I say that because you may get on a yard like Joseph Hart, where sex offenders are protected. If you go there, people that are on that yard know that if they touch you, they're going to McAllister. So most people, they don't mess with them. So on that yard, they're pretty much safe. And there may be another yard like that. I'm not sure, because prisons change all the time. But when I was in, it was just Joe Harp. They would go to Joe Harp. If you've caught out from everywhere else, or you were a sex offender, put you at Joseph Harp and you'd be okay, because the guards there protect you, and they don't put no hard inmates on that yard hardly. And if you do get a chance to go on that yard and you're a hard inmate, they know you're in a position where you can't afford to get in trouble at the time. So we have sex offenders out here in the world all the time. People say, oh, well, if they go to prison, they should have something happen. Someone should do something to them. Well, they're out here all over the place and no one's doing nothing to them for the most part. But they expect people in prison to handle up. And a lot of times people in prison do handle up. And if you're going there for a sex charge and you hit the wrong yard and you don't go straight to PC, you may not get a chance to go. Because sometimes those stompings get out of control. Sometimes you go into a cell, 3 guys go into a cell to stomp out a child molester or a rapist. And they do stomp him out. But someone hits him a little too hard, stomps him a little too hard, and he dies. And you think, well, good for that child molester, good for that rapist. Well, what about the guy that's going to be in there the rest of his life for killing him? So whenever you break the law and you get put in prison, that is the fucking punishment. Going to prison. Being beat down, stabbed, killed, that's not supposed to be part of your punishment. Otherwise, wouldn't you line them up against the wall and shoot them? Which, okay, I don't have no love for child molesters and rapists. I don't have no love for them at all. And I've gotten in trouble before for beating up child molesters. But I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of any of that. But it is the truth. So if you're a child molester and you hit the yard and you think, well, I might be okay here, then all of a sudden 3 guys come in there on you, and now you're a vegetable for the rest of your life, or maybe you're not even alive. Maybe you'll make it through that beating and you can go somewhere else. Or you could just go straight to protective custody. And what's it going to be like once you go to protective custody? Once you get protected custody, you're going to be in a cell 23 hours and 45 minutes a day with another inmate. You'll get 15 minutes, approximately 3 times a week, to take a shower. 15 minutes, supposedly you get 15 minutes to put you in the shower, give you a few minutes. If you're not done, they'll turn the water off. You'll go back to your cell with soap all over you. But you'll spend 23 hours a day in a cell with someone else that has a charge or a problem that, just like you, they can't go nowhere either, and they're going to get hurt if they go to the yard. So they'll lock you in one cell, and you'll stay in that cell. And eventually you'll get your little level, because you're not there because you're in trouble. You're there because they're protecting you. They'll let you get your level, and eventually you'll be sitting down there in a jail cell 24 hours a day for the most part, with a TV and a cell partner that's just like you. And people, I had someone got upset with me the last video. I just jumped on here to say happy 4th of July, really, man. My family, I got to spend 2 different days with family. The first day I cooked out with my aunt and my cousins next door. And then the next day, my sister came in from Texas. I had 25 people probably here at the house, or 30. And I just wanted to make a quick video to say happy 4th of July. And someone got upset with me that I didn't tell a very good story. So, hey, man, let me tell you, and I'm going to tell you this now. If you get bored of listening to prison stories, good. I'm glad you're getting bored of listening to prison stories, because that's how you're going to feel when you get in prison. You're going to be bored. All the action doesn't happen all the time, man. I've told 115 stories so far. And most of those stories, a lot of people won't go through one of those things in their whole life. But I've went through all those things. And there's still a few more things I've got to tell you. But not always do I want to get on here and talk about the worst things that have ever happened to me. The worst thing about prison is not the beatdowns. It's not being able to see your family. It's the boredom, man. The boredom. There's nothing to do. There's no cable TV. There's no special movies. There's just basic antenna TV. And that's it. You got nothing to do. You can go play dominoes, or maybe you can get someone to play cards with you. But you're not living. You're just existing, buddy. And when you go in there, that's what you're going to be, is you're going to be bored all the time. Most people don't have all these exciting fucking things that happen to them. And let's just keep it real. They weren't exciting. They were terrible. They were bad things that happened to me. And so let me give you another little story, a little warning. So you can go to prison. The last video I told you that, I was just walking through the gym and got in a fight. I didn't do anything to cause that shit. It just happened. And I'm going to tell you a story. There was a young guy when I was at Lexington. I wanted to talk about this guy today. This young guy comes in. He's 19 years old. When I met him, I was around 22. I just got out of McAllister. I had made a little name for myself. Now people didn't pick on me the way they did the first time I was at Lexington. The first time I was at Lexington, I was there a year before I went to McAllister. And man, I was in a fight all the time. My mom seen me at visit with a black eye all the time. Guards would pull me up and ask me if I needed PC. Was I all right? And I say, oh, I'm fine. Well, good. Good for you, youngin'. Get out there. Learn how to handle yourself. That's what the guards would say back in the day. They weren't there to hold your hand. I had a unit manager tell me, I'm not here to run in the middle of a knife fight and save your life. I don't get paid that much. I'm taking the loser to lockup and the winner to medical. Or the winner to lockup and the loser to medical. That's what I'm doing. I'm not running in the middle of a knife fight. So, if you get in that position, you better hope you win. You don't want to be the one on the bottom when no one wants to run in and save you because they're afraid of getting stabbed. But this kid comes on the yard, and by now I've got me a little reputation. So what I've been doing is, I see another kid in a jam, man, I try to pull him up. I've been warning them about these guys. So when I first got there, the first thing that happened is I got swarmed by a bunch of black guys, man, asking if they know me, trying to prey on me. And I don't know why it's that way. And I hope that none of the blacks that watch my video take offense, because, man, I have a lot of fucking black friends, dude. I've gotten a lot of fights over fucking black guys, man. Being friends with them and riding with them whenever it come to it. I've run people off the yard over a black guy named Babyhead that caught out, told on him. So I've got a lot of black friends. So I hope they don't take offense. But when you're white and you're young in prison, if you're kind of good looking, the black guys are going to be on you, man. Now, for me, it was a white guy that actually approached me first. But for the majority, it's going to be blacks. And a lot of the white guys who try to have sex with these young white guys that they think are pretty or whatever, however they look at it, they're kind of embarrassed of it, and they try to do it on the slide. But these black dudes don't give a fuck. They ain't ashamed of nothing, and they're trying to fuck. And there's this 19-year-old kid, and he comes on the unit now, and I feel bad for this kid because I can see him on him. You know what I mean? And what I do is I pull him up and say, be careful of that guy right there. Be careful of that guy right there. I've had people come jam me up and say, I'm pouring salt. Hey, man, I'm pouring salt on me. I'm like, man, fuck you, man. You need to leave that kid alone, man. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm standing. You need to leave that fucking kid alone. And so he keeps having problems. And we're on Unit 5, and that's called the Wolf Pack unit. And we're up on Unit 5, and that's where all the shit happens. And you see this kid, he'll try to stay in his cell. People go over and try to talk to him. He'll try to stay in his cell with the door locked all the time. He finally come out to go to the microwave, boom, they'll swarm him. So I kind of try to pull him up and try to talk to him, but the unit is just too much for him, man. So he ends up going and talking to the unit manager, asking, can they move him down to Unit 3? It's down there on Unit 3. That's where all the guys on Level 4 at stay out of trouble and shit. That's like the honor dorm. And he hasn't been in no trouble since he's been here. This is the worst unit he's on, where all the predators are at, all the rough shits, where people get robbed, where all the drugs are at, up here on Unit 5. And he gets them to move him down there to 3. But when he gets moved to 3, I can't help him. So the next thing he starts doing is he's going to church all the time. So a lot of people that are in for sex crime, or if they're afraid, or if they've caught out from somewhere, they'll try to find solace in church. They try to go down there and hang out at the chapel. So there is a building that's considered the church, and it has scheduled hours. Some hours are for the Muslims, some hours are for Jewish, some hours are for each denomination has a set time when the chapel, they can use the chapel as their church. But at any time, you can go down there and just hang out in the chapel, and it's air conditioned. So in the summertime, when it's hot everywhere, people hang out in the chapel or the library. Mostly the library. People don't want to go to the chapel because they say that's where the child molesters hang out. So this kid, he started going to church all the time. And there's this black dude, this dude named Piece of Shit. So I'll say his name. His name's Daryl Conley. Black dude, all yoked up, muscled up. Back in the day, they had free weights. They don't have free weights anymore, but they used to. This dude's on a life sentence and never getting out of prison. And he was a predator. And he catches this kid up at church and goes to talking to him at church every day. And this guy lives on Unit 3 where he lives. And he gets him up there at church, and he's talking to him at church every day and gets him to believing he's a Christian. Ask him to come to his cell and do a Bible study. So the kid agrees to it, to do a Bible study with him. So this dude, Daryl, goes in his cell, pulls a thing, puts a curtain up. I found all this out because after it happened, well, let me finish the story. Daryl puts the curtain up, goes in there, and he puts pressure on the kid, tells the kid he wants to give him a blowjob. The kid's scared to death. He don't want to do nothing with Daryl, man, but he's thinking if he's just going to give him a blowjob, at least that's better than what could happen, right? So he agrees. He goes ahead and lets Daryl pull his pants down. When Daryl pulls his pants down, he just flipped him right over, man. Put him in a chokehold, raped him. And that kid come out of that cell crying, didn't want to say what happened, but everyone knew something had happened. So a day or two goes by, and the kid goes to medical, and he catches out. He's up there in medical, and they got him in a little cell. They keep you, if you have medical problems, they got like 2 or 3 cells in medical. They're medical cells. And they put people there if they're on suicide watch, talking about killing themselves. And this kid say he's going to kill himself now. And so they got him in one of these suicide cells. It's just a little cell with a camera in it. And they have one of the inmates, that's his job, is to sit there and talk to you, watch you, sign a little piece of paper every 15 minutes that you haven't killed yourself, you're alive, you're sitting there, they're watching you. That'll be their job. And that's how I found out this stuff, what happened in that cell. It's because I sent that guy, it's the suicide watch, the guy that works suicide watch. I went and found him. Hey, man, go up there. I want you to go talk to that kid. So I made sure he went and talked to him, asked him what I wanted to ask him, and he told me. So that's what happened. He got him up in there, and he said he was afraid. He didn't want to have to do nothing with him, but he just thought, at least if he was just going to give him head, it wasn't that bad. Turned him over, raped him. And the kid was trying to kill himself and everything else. I don't know what happened to him after that. But they shipped Daryl Conley to McAllister. And he's done a life sentence and never getting out. And I told you guys that there was people in McAllister that I didn't want living nowhere near my family, and he's one of them. Because that kind of shit does happen in prison. And so that could happen when you go in there. So let me tell you, man, don't be going in other people's cells. If you think you're going up in a penitentiary, man, don't put yourself in a position where you can be trapped like that. Stay out in the open, man. Stay out in the open. You'll be okay. But for the most part, you just show you'll fight, and you'll be all right. Keep to yourself. I've had someone ask me, is it possible to just go to prison and stay out of trouble? Absolutely it is. Now, there's always a chance. When I go out of my house today and I head to town, there's a chance I run into an asshole. There's always a chance you run into an asshole. But for the most part, you go to the penitentiary. If I had to go to penitentiary today and do a 10-year sentence, here's what I'd do. I'd go in there, and the first thing I'd do is I'd go try to get Invotech, take some kind of trade, because that'd knock 80 days off my time. It'll also help me get my level, and I'm going to work my way up to level 4 so I can get 44 extra days a month. And I ain't borrowing from nobody. I ain't making no deals with nobody. I'm going to have my family send me $25 to $30 a week, and I'm going to use that for soups and snacks and get me some stamps and for my hygiene. I'm never going to have them send me more than $30 in a week. I'm not going to mess with no drugs. If anybody asks me for something, I'm not loaning it to them. Either I'll give it to them or I ain't going to do it at all. I'm just going to have enough to get me by. I'm not going to have any extra. I'm going to stay out of everybody else's business, and I'm going to be polite, and I ain't going to cut the line or do anything disrespectful. I'm going to wait till it's my turn and be respectful to people. And the chances are people will think I'm a good guy, and I will get right through there, because I'm not a little youngster anymore. I'm 50 years old. So people aren't going to prey on me because they think I'm pretty anymore. So that's what I would do if I was going to prison now, or if you are a family member that has a family that's in there. Don't do deals. Don't do drugs. Don't gamble. Don't borrow. Don't loan. Just do your own time. Get you $20, $30 a week for what you need. Don't never have extra. Just have enough. And mind your own business and be respectful, and you can get through that place. But I hope that you, my friend, never go. And I hope this video helps in that. I want to give a shout out to the riders and dyers, the riders who ride till the wheels fall off and the dyers keep riding even when they do. Hope some of you guys want you a shirt. Only one that's bought any so far is John Doe. I can always count on him. He bought the first 2. He bought one of each one. So hope to hear from some of you guys soon on that. But anything else, hey, I hope to see you guys in the next video. And until then, may God bless, keep, and protect each and every one of you. Until then, peace out.